It's glow time. Let's talk about Apple's most recent event. We're going to summarize it first and then talk more details about the Apple iPhones. So they released the Apple Airpod 4s. They'll now have USB-C, AirPod Pros 2s, which will also have USB-C. Then you'll have the new Apple Watches, which will be thinner, slightly bigger screens, will have sleep apnea detection, not much more else. And then you have the main event, the iPhones. So you'll have the new iPhone 16, 16 Plus, 16 Pro, and 16 Pro Max. The screen sizes for the smaller devices will change from 6.1 inches in 15 and prior years to 6.3 inches. This is primarily done by getting rid of some more of the bezels. So it's going to be super thin bezels compared to previous years. And then the bigger phones will be 6.9 inches versus 6.7 inches in the past iterations. So you're going to get slightly more screen out of your footprint. They will also have bigger batteries. You will have 2x zoom capability from the main sensor. The 48 megapixel sensor will be able to zoom 2x optically. In the past it was more digitally, but now they have like a hybrid lens which can do a 2x zoom. Will also give you the optical image stabilization that's inherent of the main zoom or main camera. So you will have slightly better pictures at 2x as compared to previous years. Previous years you would have to use the secondary cameras to zoom. Now you still have a telephoto camera for 5x, but for 2x, you will use the main sensor, which is much better than the secondary sensors. You will still have the 0.5x wide angle camera available. The other new feature, of course, will be the Apple Intelligence integration, which is not going to be live when the phone comes out. It's going to be in beta, so certain power users will get access to it and will be able to try it out, but it won't be ready for alpha until a future date that they did not announce. So let's talk about if you should upgrade. If you have the Apple iPhone 14 Pro Max or newer, you essentially have no reason at this point to upgrade, because you are not even going to have access to the Apple Intelligence, which will only, by the way, be available for Apple 15 Pro series as well as 16 and on. So if you have a 14 Pro, of course, you will never be able to access the Apple Intelligence series, but that's okay because it's not even going to be available now. So you might as well wait till 17 series for them to iron out any issues or even actually make it available, because when the iPhone 16s come out, it's not even going to be available. The processor, there will be a separate processor on the phone to do the processing for the Apple Intelligence part of it. So your general processing will be faster. The camera processing will also be faster because of the camera upgrade with the new phones, but it's not going to make a difference for most users. So in my opinion, if you have Apple iPhone 14 Pro series or newer, 15 Pro, then there's no reason for you to upgrade at this point. Perhaps by iPhone 17s, there might be a reason, and we don't know. Apple Intelligence may not work out. It's just in beta. Actually, nobody's really actually used it to see if it makes a difference in their day-to-day life. Another feature on the new phones is a camera action button. It's essentially a shutter button for the camera, so you can start recording or start taking pictures depending on what you set it to. So there's going to be the second customizable button. Essentially, there's the one that they introduced last year, which I'm not sure how many people use, but now you're going to have a second actionable camera. So it seems like Apple's reverting back to buttons. I know they were in a push to get rid of buttons and ports and stuff like that in MacBooks and iPhones and everything, but now they're bringing some buttons back. In fact, they're adding a second button to the first action button they added last year. So that'll be good if you're taking a lot of photos. You will have action button to just click the button and start taking photos, a shutter button. But I'm not sure if that's necessarily an upgrade. I already, if I have my camera on, use my volume button as my shutter button, so not entirely sure how that adds to the entire experience, but it's there for you to use. That also means you can't really use your old cases for the new iPhones, right? So in the past, sometimes some old cases will be compatible with your new iPhones, but no longer, because you have the action button, and of course you have now the camera action shutter button. The camera upgrades every few years, every 3 years or so, the camera upgrades actually help out. Right now, if you're going to upgrade for the camera, I would say don't do it, because the sensor is still a 48 megapixel sensor. The aperture is the same. Everything's the same essentially, except for the 2x part. So there's no reason to upgrade for the camera if you have 14 or newer. Even a 13 Pro, like I think 13 Pros are 12 megapixel camera, so you might see a difference, but really no one's looking at images at 48 megapixel. But let's say you want the upgrade. If you're at 13 Pro, you may want to upgrade. If you're at 13, you want to like upgrade 12 Pro. 14 Pro, you're really not going to see any difference at this point. Now, once the Apple Intelligence starts rolling out, who knows? They might hit a home run. They might do a really good job. In that case, you may want to upgrade. You might as well hold off until you know what you're getting into. I'd like to hear what you think about the new Apple iPhone series that's coming out. I also have all the cases available, so I'm going to do a case comparison between the 14 Pro Max and the 15 and the 16 case series.